So now that you have a bottle, pick a bottle and put it in front of you. I mean, it could be a bottle, it could be a coffee cup, it could be, I see some of you with like a juice. Can I borrow that for a second, Sudhi? Yeah, like, you know, like anything like this is also going to work for what we're doing. It involves this elliptical perspective, the perspective of circles. Even your yogurt container there, Sarah, could potentially work for this. What I really need you to do, though, is look at what you're drawing. So if you feel like you need to turn the paper to fit this in, you may do so. When I'm looking at the bottle in front of me, the nice thing about having glass or something clear is I can actually see through to the bottom circle, the bottom ellipse. Okay, so when I'm looking at that, I want to draw what I see. And what I'll do is I'll draw that bottom as I see it. Now, one thing I would not see is, as I wouldn't see it from this point of view, and I wouldn't see like a full circle. Okay, the only way I would see a full circle is if I'm looking at my bottle straight down, like from above. That would be the only way I'd see a full circle. The only way I'd see a perfect line is if this thing is floating in front of my face, like, or if I duck down and I'm looking at this thing right at the level of the table. Okay? So you really have to look at that bottom ellipse. Ishraq, can you get your eyes on the screen for me? So I see it more like this because it's not here and it's not there. It's somewhere in between. Okay? You already know how to draw the basic form of this object. What is the basic form of these bottles? Cylinder. Yes, right, a cylinder. You know that, so you can, again, if you need to turn your paper, you can. We know that a cylinder has two parallel lines on the outermost, the tangent of that ellipse, the outer edges of that foreshortened circle. You could also send up a one in the middle. That one in the middle is helpful. That's just kind of an extra trick for drawing a bottle. That one in the middle is going to help us keep the top ellipse centered. So what I'll do is, now I'll go to that top ellipse. I'm looking at the opening of the bottle, the lip of the bottle. And now this one I see is more closed. And that makes sense because it's closer to my eye level. So here my ellipse is going to be more open because it's lower. Here it's closer to my eye level, so it will be a little bit more closed. And then all I have to do is work the stuff in between. And I'm doing that just through observation. So, you know, the last project we did, we were really working a balance of our mind and photo references. We're going back to drawing from an object with the bottle, so look at it. You know, it's there in front of you. Use it as your source and use it to help you correct and modify your proportions and add all the detail that you see. I can see that this one has a neck to it that comes pretty much straight down, and then the shoulder of that bottle, and this one is not a smooth transition. It's really more of a bump. You'll see some of these bottles have like tape around them or a rubber band around them. This one, the shoulders kind of just comes out like that. I'm realizing I need to make this bottom a little wider. Some of these will have a piece of tape or rubber band around them. That's because we can see through it, and you can actually see the ellipse then. Because there's actually a couple ellipses that happen in these things. Does anybody have a rubber band on their bottle? Let me just put one on Jade's here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's kind of a helpful thing, and I've got some rubber bands available if you want. But I mean, if you look at this, the nice thing about it being clear again is that I can see like, oh man, there's an ellipse at the bottom, and then there's an ellipse here, and I can see, you know, how open it is based on that rubber band. Does that make sense? So, you know, you kind of have to imagine that in your mind, but essentially you could draw ellipses like we just did on the bottom, like kind of closing, you know, because that's really what's happening as we work our way up. All right? If you want to give yourself an extreme challenge, you could, you know, draw it from a more of a top-down view, like my mug of tea here, or you could set it so it's kind of foreshortened. If you put your bottle, like if you look at this one by Abby here, if I put it like this, you know, then I have more of a shortened view, and I would compress or shorten the length of the bottle. So you can try a little bit of both, all right? What I want you to do is try to draw a bottle using this drawing through or elliptical perspective. What I shouldn't see is this. Take a look back with me and let me show you the do not do's, okay? if I should not see a flat bottom. Like I said, that's really shows me you're not really looking. We're going to want to try to, if we show a flat bottom, we shouldn't see that as the top. We want to try to keep the sides symmetrical. Remember, if you want to try something challenging, you could do more of a foreshortened look where it's kind of spinning at you. This is just a simple glass based off the cylinder. But we're going to really try to avoid this situation. That's not accurate, okay? It's also not showing me the cylindrical look of that bottle. The other thing you really want to be careful of with your lips is that you guys didn't do in your little elliptical bars. You didn't pinch the corners of them. You really want to avoid this like almond shape, or like I always call it Stewie from the Family Guy's head. Don't do that. You want to make sure your ellipses stay curved and don't get them pointed or pinched. But really, any bottle form, if you look at this final example, a wine glass or any bottle, any just cylindrical based object can be drawn with this foreshortening. Tires on a car, I mean it has many applications, much like the ribbon, okay? So spend some time today kind of filling your page with just some bottle drawings, or your juice bottle that you're drinking from right now. Try one foreshortened. Try one standing up, okay? That's all we're doing for today.